GPOPlus is a leading DSD direct store delivery distribution company delivering high-demand consumer products directly to convenience and stores and gas stations. With me is CEO Brett Perjunas. Great to have you here at the Stock
Great to
Exchange.
be here. Thank you for having me.
Let's just start with an overall look at the business. Explain what it is that GoPlus does.
Sure. So now you just said DSD. Do you know what DSD means?
I didn't until I did research on this.
Perfect. So DSD means direct store delivery. And what that is a delivery and a distribution method where in lieu of taking a pallet and just dropping it off in the back of a convenience store or gas station, we actually go send our drivers into the stores. Wherever we have our products, we replenish it. It's all built on some whiz-bang technology called Prism, where they take a before picture, add all the inventory, everything they just replenished, and do an after picture. The manager signs off, done and done. So with that, we call it kind of our white glove service because we go into these stores every single week. And what we do is we solve a lot of problems for these gas stations and convenience stores. And when people hear this, gas stations and convenience stores, it doesn't sound that sexy. But here's the thing. Do you have any idea how many gas stations and convenience stores there are in the U.S.?
Well, I had guessed 30,000, but it's way more than that.
It is.
Which makes sense when you think about how many cities have these.
Every corner, every city, you always see a gas station. It's a huge part of the economy all over the country. There's over 152,000 gas stations and convenience stores nationwide. Now, when you look at the total annual revenue, let's just focus on the in-store sales, not motor sales, fuel sales, but the in-store sales, $327.6 billion. Now, one of the things that we learned over the last year is when you walk into a convenience store, next time you do this, just look around. 80 to 85% of all the products you see, they're distributed by just a handful of major distributors. The other 15 to 20%, that's the pain point. That could be dozens and dozens of vendors, and they don't have the same type of service that we do with the DSD. They do the drop ship. They do the drop off pallets.
Okay, just drop off a big box of stuff.
Correct. And let's be honest, most of these gas stations and convenience stores, especially, I'll give you another fun fact, about 63% or 91,000 of those convenience stores and gas stations are single store operator. They're not major chains. And so these companies, and especially the smaller mom and pops, they don't have the wherewithal to go and do all the things that they need to do from an ordering standpoint. So that's where we come in, where we can consolidate that 15 to 20% chaotic mess and be their preferred vendor. And so and when you look at our company, it's like, how do we know if we're being successful? Well, it's the number of stores that we sell to, and then the number of products that we sell per store.
Yeah. So when I think about in a convenience store, I think drinks, snacks. I mean, that's the kind of stuff that you're delivering and putting on the shelves, right?
Sure. So we started with our hemp products, and we have actually, if this is the counter, we're right next to the cash register with what's called the Feel Good Shop Plus, and that's a curated product mix of all of the legal hemp products that we either vendor or manufacture in some cases. We also do disposable nicotine vape. We do gift cards in some regards, but what we're trying to do is get out of the age-gated products. It was great for us to get our foot in the door, and now we want to get into more general merchandise because, again, that's kind of where the pain points are. So whenever we can help out any of these retail partners, we want to.
Where do you operate now? How many stores do you have in your ecosystem?
Sure. So we're headquartered in Las Vegas. That's where I'm based. But the majority of our business in the Midwest and the Southwest. So Texas, New Mexico, Iowa, Oklahoma, Wyoming, South Dakota. These are the states that we're in. And quite frankly, for a DSD company, it's the most challenging territory. And we're doing a pretty good job right now. So we're pretty excited because it's not just the human touch that we have on our weekly service. It's the fact that we've developed an entire hub and spoke model, which we call regional hubs and mini hubs. The regional hub supports the mini hubs. And so that makes it a lot easier for us to get to these rural areas that a lot of people have a challenge with. That's one aspect. But the other aspect is the technology. That's really the me different because having this technology that's AI driven, Prism, we do everything from route management. Let's make the drivers more efficient. How come this driver spends 16 minutes at this stop and 18 minutes at this stop? We have all this data, and now we can make data-driven decisions. And we're one of the few companies that can do that. Now, more importantly, not only do we have the data, but because we like working with best-in-class companies, we want the best partnerships we can have. We take that data and we give it to the vendors and the manufacturers that we work with, because otherwise they wouldn't have that data. They just know that they drop it off at this place and that's the end of it. With us, we give them the SKUs, where they sold, what stores, what cities, and it's amazing.
We talked about the problems that you help solve, like, they don't have the personnel to replenish all these shelves and stuff.
Sure.
What are all the problems that you help solve?
How much time do we have? So let me talk about the most important problems. So when you look at, especially with a bigger chain, when they do like their white label, for example, they have an MOQ, a minimum order quantity that they need on a per store basis. Well, all stores aren't created equal. You might have one store that has very low sales velocity and another one that has a very high sales velocity. Well, the issue is most of these retailers, the managers, they have to put that order in and get a whole quarter's worth of product. Where are you going to store it? It's a retail location. So you're going to take up really valuable retail space to store product. And it's not just products that they're selling. It's office supplies, cleaning supplies. It's a whole myriad of different products. With us, we do all the warehousing. We're sending the people there every single week. So not only are we solving the problem of warehousing, we're taking away the aspect of ordering so that the manager can actually focus in on managing the store instead of having to place orders. And on top of all of that, we can also look at things like expiration dates. So let's say we're distributing beef jerkies, and in one store there's a low sales velocity, and we know that some of the products might expire in the next 30, 60 days, regardless of the shelf life. We'll move that to a high velocity store and move fresh products in. That's unheard of. We're solving some major problems. So, you've got the personnel, you've got the fact that you don't have to take apart the pallet, put it into the inventory, restock. You don't have to order. So we deal with all of these issues for them because we're there every week. And when we start to consolidate that 15 to 20%, and that's all to your point earlier, general merchandise. It could be everything's bigger in Texas hats. It could be whatever it is.
Right.
We will make sure that we have all that inventory at our regional hubs and our mini hubs, and so that the vans are all equipped. And using our technology, we kind of know what's sold, so we can kind of predict the day before we do a route what products we need to have. And so they're in there. And then of course we always have backfill so that they sell more because it's not up to the minute.
Okay.
So there's a lot of problems that we're solving, and we're excited to keep identifying more opportunities for us to continue to be a better partner with them.
Do you distribute third-party products? Do you have your own products, combination of the two?
It's a combination of the three. So we have three types of products. One, which is obviously our favorite, GPOX brands. Those are products that we manufacture. What's great about that is we can control the quality, and in most cases, we're going to get double the margin. Okay. So of course, we want to manufacture whenever we can. Then we have licensed brands. So if we work with a company that has a legacy brand or whatever, we'll do a licensing agreement with them. And then we have partner brands, and that's where we go out and find the best in class, best of breed products that we go and kick the tires and do all the due diligence to make sure that it's a good company, has all the. If there's a compliance issue, we make sure that they're fully compliant. And then we work with them. So so we have the vendor products, licensed products, and then our GPOX brands.
Okay. And I looked at a press release. You're expanding South Dakota and Texas.
Yeah.
Are those growth areas?
They truly are, yes. So when we started in Lubbock, Texas, and Lubbock, Texas serviced the whole region, as far north as Wyoming and South Dakota, as far east as Dallas, as far west as the far end of New Mexico. Well, that wasn't efficient because we're sending out box trucks. Box trucks. It's not good for the environment. It's not sustainable. It's not green. But it's not even from a financial standpoint, it's not the most efficient way that you can be doing it. By setting up these hubs and a hub and spoke model, the regional hubs and the mini hubs, all product goes to our regional hub. It gets accounted for, inventory, then ship out to our local hubs, our mini hubs, and then from there we have drivers that can service anywhere from about 100 to 200 stores, depending on the size of the market.
You're a logistical company as well.
We are, and the funny thing is, don't tell anyone, but in 4 years we're probably going to be a data company because the data that we have is unprecedented. And I've already told you the size of the industry, $327.6 billion. There's a lot of people that are vying for the data that we have, and most people do not. And it's ripe for disruption. I can't even begin to tell you. So
you talked a little bit about your expansion plans. I mean, what's your strategy going forward? More data? Expansion
data for
sure. Okay.
So I think what we're doing now is we're really learning a lot. We've spent the last year getting really, really good at DSD. And I think we're doing a great job. And there's always room for improvement, naturally. But we've got a great team that can take us to the next level. And I think that our focus now is going to be, always improving our service to our existing clients, then bringing on more chains. And then we have a pretty rapid expansion plan to get nationwide. Right now, we're really focused in, like I said, that corridor that's really tough in the Midwest, Southwest. But once we start to expand nationwide, we're going to add more stores, more products. Our biggest thing right now is more products because, again, a lot of our products are age gated, meaning you have to show an ID. We don't want that. Okay. It's not that we don't like the industry, but it's just there's a lot of challenges in
more
that
diversity.
Versus selling the everything's bigger in Texas hat. That's a lot easier. But even with that, can I tell you one other thing on that? So when you look at a company that's in multiple states, right? Think about this. if a company like Yesway Allsup is one of our biggest customers, they're I believe the 11th largest convenience store chain in the country, fastest growing, but they have operations in Texas and New Mexico. Well, you go to a Texas store, you're going to see, again, everything's bigger in Texas, the Lone Star State. That's one vendor. Then you go to, let's say you're in Albuquerque, it's the land of enchantment, right? So that's another vendor. So with us, we can come in and find out what they need, evaluate that. We'll manufacture, or we'll find another manufacturer for it, and then we'll be in charge of all that distribution. So they don't need to worry about the everything's bigger in Texas hat ending up in Albuquerque.
Okay.
So
well,
stuff like that.
On those road trips, I've made a lot of stops at stores along the way, so I know they're an important part of the economy.
Huge part, yeah.
Yeah. Brett, thank you so much.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
Thanks.
It's been a lot of fun.